or here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to knowing you. We invite you to come to our community hour right after the service in Unity House behind me. Everyone present in the sanctuary today is welcome to join us in person, and those of you who are online, welcome. Every week, we remind ourselves of our congregational core values: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. Reverend Roger has a guest to introduce right now.
Good morning, I'm Reverend Roger. My pronouns are he, him, and it is an honor today to welcome Bill Morse. Bill works with Stiefel Investments, which handles the congregation's investments. He is located in Milwaukee, so he had a bit of a drive this morning. Bill is an activist for justice in Wisconsin in the Milwaukee area, and also very active in his own Episcopal congregation, so I'm grateful that he gave up being there this morning to be with us. And so welcome. Bill's going to say a few words.
Thank you, everyone. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. When I was just listening to our trustee, and I was thinking about over the years that I've had the honor of supporting your mission, when I've asked people, what drew you to Unity, I usually hear three things. The first one is this beautiful, historic, transcendent, sacred space. The next one is who's in that space, our family, whether that person is by blood or chosen. And thirdly, what I oftentimes hear is that I want to go to a church of thinkers and doers and activists. And this is a congregation that does that. My husband is back home. He had surgery on his foot, and so I'm giving him nursing care. He normally calls me Ratchet rather than Nightingale. And so when he said afterwards he wants to go somewhere south of the beach, I thought, great, Kenosha. But So I will be in Unity House after the service, and if you would want to come and hear how I might be able to give you some ideas on more tax efficiently being able to support the congregation as we build that home and house of tomorrow, and as our children and our grandchildren and many new people that come can stand on our shoulders, I'm happy to help you with that. And then the tax savings you might find, you can either keep that as a gift to yourself, or if you want to use that to help get the matching gifts, that's pretty cool too. Thank you so much.
Again, welcome to our congregation, and it's now time for you to take a moment to greet each other.
Our chalice lighter this morning is named Janet, and Janet had a great time on Halloween with her grandkids, Lila and Peter. Let's join in the chalice lighting words. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open mind, the loving heart, the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
Good morning. My name is Madonna Thielen. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm happy to be your worship assistant for today. I grew up in the Catholic tradition of honoring All Souls Day by going to church and saying my prayers in order to release souls from purgatory, the waiting room for heaven. Now, that seems so strange. Purgatory? Really? Yet the idea of making emotional and spiritual contact with those who have died remains a very important way to continue the connections across this liminal time and space between life and death and life. My sister Betty died on November 2nd. I got the call at 1 a.m. in the morning and went to the care facility where the nurse had found her not breathing. I'd spent the previous days with her, though she was in a semi-coma and her organs were failing. When I arrived in the wee hours of that morning at her bedside, I held her hand and sat in vigil with her for the next couple hours as I awaited the funeral home attendant to arrive. During those hours of vigil, I felt her spirit transitioning. And since she had been a musician, I sang to her, hoping that the music would accompany her through this liminal space of transition. Those sacred moments of honoring her life and her death remind me now of the ofrendas, the altars honoring our ancestors who have left this life. Ofrendas, part of the tradition of Dia de los Muertos, help us, the living, stay connected to our loved ones in death. My sister's picture and this tiny piano sit on my ofrenda at home. These help me stay connected to Betty, to her life, to her personal journeying through her bipolar suffering, and her passage from this life. I think she waited until November 2nd to die because she knew that all the souls of those who have touched our lives and left their imprint are still a part of our lives, even in death. And so we remember them. Whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are on your journey in this liminal time through life and death, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together.
Our opening hymn today is number 103, For All the Saints, in the gray hymnal. Words up here. Let's rise and join in body or in spirit in singing.
Oh
is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its purpose, and purpose is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Emily Mace, and I am the intern minister here at Unity Temple, and I'm also a member of the spiritual care team. Love is the doctrine of this congregation, and sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives with each other is one of the ways we embody love in our congregation. Those attending in person may share their joys and sorrows in the blue binder outside the doors to the sanctuary. You can also email your joys and sorrows to us at spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. If you would like to talk to someone about what is on your heart, please feel welcome to contact the spiritual care team. We are here to listen and sit with you in times of both joy and sorrow. Here are the joys and sorrows that have been shared this week. Kristen Schmidt shares with us the bittersweet news that her Auntie Anne passed away on Wednesday, now at peace after a long battle with Alzheimer's. She will always be remembered as joyful, sassy, and for the way she loved others deeply and leaned in during difficult times. Always giving, always making things more beautiful and sparkly, living life on her terms with a big heart and a great laugh. She will be truly missed. Jay Cohen would like to share a joy. Last night, Terry Kinsey was honored with the Founders Award from the Opelga Plus, our local area LGBTQ organization, to thank him for all the work he has done towards the support and justice for the community. It was a joyous event, and the award was very well deserved. Congratulations. Joshua Ridenauer shares that I am overjoyed today to celebrate 17 years of marriage, love, joy, and partnership with the love of his life, Val Ridenauer. Yay. "17 years ago, he shares that we unwisely planned an outdoor wedding in Chicago in November. But thankfully, the cold and rain waited until about 15 minutes after the ceremony ended, and we've been counting our blessings ever since. Congratulations, Joshua and Val. And Marty shares that Bert Anderson and his family need your thoughts and prayers, as Bert has been readmitted to Loyola after he had another fall at home. So we are hold hearts. We know that some hold joys and sorrows in silence. We invite anyone who has a joy or sorrow to come forward to drop a stone into the bowl of water at one of 4 stations around the room. The water represents the love that is large enough to hold all of our joys and sorrows. We invite you to engage in this spiritual practice of silence during this shared ritual. And let us now begin. Continuing in this spirit of joy and sorrow, I invite you into a time of prayer and meditation with some words from the historic Unitarian poet May Sarton. This is her poem, All Souls. Did someone say that there would be an end, oh, an end to love and mourning? What has been once so interwoven cannot be raveled, not the gift ungiven. Now the dead move through all of us still glowing, mother and child, lover and lover mated, are wound and bound together and flowing. What has been plated cannot be unplated. Only the strands grow richer with each loss, and memory makes kings and queens of us. Dark into night, light into darkness spin. When all the birds have flown to some real heaven, we who find shelter in the warmth within listen and feel new cherished, new forgiven, as the lost human voices speak through us and bind our complex love, our mourning, without end. So ends the poem, and together I invite you to take a breath to call our loved ones to our minds and hearts. Take one more breath to hold them close. And take one more breath to let them go. So might it be. Amen. We'll sing Spirit of Life. Roger is getting the book for the message for all ages.
always a bad moment when you realize the book is in my backpack, locked in an office, and my key to the office is in my backpack. My apologies, friends. So, we now have the book, and I'm going to get this on. If you would like to come close, you are welcome to. It's a book with kind of small pictures. The good news is, on my way down to get this, with this very long stole, I did not trip up or down the steps. And also kudos to Val Ridenour, who had a quick key to get in the office. So our book today is The 10th Good Thing About Barney, Judith V. Yorst. It is a classic. It is a classic worth hearing again. Emily Gage gave me several books to look at. I said, which one would you pick? This is the one. My cat Barney died last Friday, and I was very sad. I cried and I didn't watch television. I cried and I didn't eat my chicken or even the chocolate pudding. I went to bed and I cried. My mother sat down on my bed and she gave me a hug. She said, we could have a funeral for Barney in the morning. She said, I should think of 10 good things about Barney so I could tell them at the funeral. I thought and I thought and I thought of good things about Barney. I thought of 9 good things. Then I fell asleep. In the morning, my mother wrapped Barney in a yellow scarf. My father buried Barney in the ground by a tree in the yard. Annie, my friend from next door, came over with flowers, and I told good things about Barney. Barney was brave, I said, and smart and funny and clean. Also cuddly and handsome, and he only once ate a bird. It was sweet, I said, to hear him purr in my ear. And sometimes he slept on my belly and kept it warm. Those are all good things, said my mother, but I just count 9. I said I would try to think of another one later. At the end of the funeral, we sang a song for Barney. We couldn't remember any cat songs, so we sang one about a pussy willow. Even my father knew the words. Then Annie and I went into the kitchen with Mother. She gave us orangeade and butter cookies, and she left the box on the table so we could have seconds. I gave my seconds to Annie. I miss Barney, I said. Annie said Barney was in heaven with lots of cats and angels, drinking cream and eating cans of tuna. I said Barney's in the ground. Heaven, said Annie, heaven. So there. The ground, I told her, the ground. You don't know anything. My father came in from the yard and took a cookie. Big-mouthed Annie said heaven again. I said ground. Tell her who's right, I asked Father. She doesn't know anything. Maybe Barney's in heaven, my father began. Aha, said Annie, stuck her tongue out at me. And maybe, said my father, Barney isn't. What did I tell you? I said and yanked Annie's braid. Father made me let go. We don't know too much about heaven, he told Annie. We can't be absolutely sure it isn't there. But if it is there, said Annie in her absolutely sure voice, it's bound to have room for Barney and tuna and cream. She finished another cookie and went back home. My father told me he had to work in the garden. I said that I would help, but only a little. I told him I didn't like it, that Barney was dead. He said, why should I like it? It's sad, he said. He told me that it might not feel so sad tomorrow. My father had a packet of little brown seeds. He shook some out of his hand. The ground will give them food and a place to live, he said. And soon they'll grow a stem and some leaves and flowers. I squeezed the packet open and looked down to the bottom. I told him, I don't see leaves and I don't see flowers. Things change in the ground, said my father. In the ground, everything changes. Will Barney change too? I asked him. Oh, yes, said my father. He'll change until he's part of the ground in the garden. And then I asked, will he help to make flowers and leaves? He will, said my father. He'll help grow the flowers, and he'll help grow the tree and some grass. You know, he said, that's a pretty nice job for a cat. My father and I planted all the seeds in the garden. Mother made sandwiches, and we ate them under the tree. After lunch, we worked in the garden some more. At night, I still didn't want to watch any television. When I turned out the light, my mother sat down on my bed. She gave me a hug, and I said I had something to tell her. Listen, I said. I told the good things about Barney. Barney was brave, I said, and smart and funny and clean and also cuddly and handsome, and he only once ate a bird. It was sweet, I said, to hear him purr in my ear, and sometimes he slept on my belly and kept it warm. Those are all good things, said my mother, but I still just count 9. Yes, I said, but now I have another. Barney is in the ground, and he's helping grow flowers. You know, I said, it's a pretty nice job for a cat. So today, this is a service for all ages, so we invite everybody to stay in here for the remainder of the service.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Moline. My pronouns are she and her. And each week, Unity Temple splits its offering. The directions for that are on the screen and in your bulletin. One half supports the programs and missions of our congregation, and this week the other half supports the UU Prison Ministry of Illinois, which seeks to equip Unitarian Universalists in Illinois to transform institutions and support people harmed by the prison industrial complex. We advocate for criminal justice, partnering with UUANI and other organizations. We educate and build awareness of the prison industrial complex. We serve 188 pen pals inside prison. We create solidarity groups in UU congregations for persons released from prison, and we provide group services inside Cook County Jail and Logan Women's Prison. 2 of our members, Georgina Swanson and Terry Grace, do that wonderful work. Next week, we are going to welcome Reverend Allison Farnham and Keith Talley from the UUPMI at our worship service. If you are interested in being connected with a pen pal, leading groups inside Cook County Jail, or assisting in bringing a film series on criminal justice issues to Unity Temple, please reach out to prisonministry@unitytemple.org. Thank you.
Our reading this morning is actually a responsive reading in the hymnal, number 720. So if you'd like to follow along with the words, you're welcome to do so, but you do not need to, as the only responsive part we'll be doing is the title, Remember Them. We remember them, excuse me. So after I pause, I'll gesture and you're invited to respond with, we remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Thank you.
So not surprisingly, many religions and cultures in the Northern Hemisphere have holy days around this time of year. Holy days like Samhain, Dia de Muertos, or Dia los Muertos more formally, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, All Hallows' Eve, Halloween. In these days, these holy days, help us contemplate the reality that everyone eventually dies. All the skeleton decorations these past weeks symbolize this tradition. All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day is one of the most important days of the year for our Unitarian kinfolk in Transylvania. They mark All Saints' Day by visiting graveyards to remember loved ones who have died, to remember the legacies that they have left. Every year on November 1st, I travel through social media to the cemetery where my beloved Transylvanian friend, Reverend László Kiss, is buried. László, as he was called by family and friends, was the first partner church minister I worked with, and it is hard for me to think of anyone who lived with more gusto than László. So yesterday, I traveled in my imagination and in my heart to this holy place in Transylvania. The old, magnificent, more than 1,000-year-old, parts of it anyway, cathedral in York, England, is where I surprisingly experienced an incredibly innovative and extraordinary celebration of All Saints' Day. In one spot in the cathedral's monumental nave, children drew pictures on paper spread out on the cathedral floor. In another part of the nave, spray paint artists created these huge, beautiful works of art. One showed an angel, a loved one who had died, with the words, "They went through the air and space without fear, and the shining stars marked their shining deeds." And then in a dimly lit circular room, the cathedral's chapter house, where church leadership traditionally would meet, two singers performed Latin chants. Everyone was invited to light a candle and add it to a spiral of hundreds of candles on the floor. And people could then sit and meditate and listen to the music, see the candles around the edge of the room. One of those candles is one I lit for my mom, who had died a little less than 3 years before my visit. At the weekly interfaith protests 2 days ago, outside the ICE detention facility in Broadview, where people that are abducted are temporarily housed, waiting to go somewhere, there was a person who quietly set up a Dia de Muertos altar. And the flowers on the fence were left from last week's Unitarian Universalist-led flower communion. The creator of the altar hadn't brought a photo to remember a specific loved one. They wanted the altar to be a place of remembrance and lamentation for all those who have died, especially in these current atrocities. They wanted to lift up the lives, the families shattered during the aftermath of having ICE terror visit their lives. An older retired Methodist minister I was with offered the handmade sign that's on the altar. So there we are, this person's quietly setting up the altar, and all the protesters are focused a half block away on the ICE facility, on the state police down there, luckily down there, and the Broadview police nearer. Then, suddenly, everybody formed a circle around this beautiful altar with the flower communion flowers still behind it. We sang, smudging. The altar creator shared what the altar means to them. And their altar created this sacred space in that most unlikely place for the medicine we all needed to keep on resisting the terror. Alex Veliquez Brightbill, a member of Unity Temple, is generously sharing this beautiful Dia de Muertos altar with us today. Each year, she continues a cherished tradition that she learned from her grandmother as she grew up in Mexico. She welcomed the addition of the photos and the mementos like Madonna placed there. Maybe some of you did as well. Alex asked me to share these words about who the altar is dedicated to today. I dedicate this altar and these flowers to Dr. Jane Goodall, British primatologist, ethologist, and anthropologist. Whenever I read about her life and work, she brings me joy. Her love for animals reminds me of my love for my own pets, Chopin, Princess Carolyn, Monina, Toby, and Minnie. This altar is also for them, for all the love, comfort, and happiness they give me. May their spirits be surrounded by peace and light. So today, together, we have created remembrance altars. We have made this a holy space in a different way today, where we remember those who have departed, those we hold in our hearts, those whose legacies still enrich our lives. As long as we live, they too shall live, for they are a part of us as we remember them. So for a kind of embodied ritual today, meditative ritual, I invite those who wish from around the room to come and look at the altars, especially this one. If you prefer, you're welcome to remain in your seat. You can view it. You can also close your eyes and picture loved ones who you have lost. So Tom will accompany us on a variation on Bookends by Paul Simon as we silently spend time focused on the altars and on those who have gone before, who are in our hearts. Let's begin. May we all rest in the comfort, the peace, the certainty, the love, the hope that all these beloveds are with us. Our closing hymn today is number 128. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. It's in the big hymnal up there, 128. The closing words today come from Leah Derlin Jones. For those who came before, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love as we go forth from this time and place. Let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Let's join in the chalice extinguishing words together. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.